For decades, it sat there in silence, hidden beneath layers of dirt, trees, and forgotten history. People walked over it every single day without realizing what was sleeping below their feet. No warning signs, no fences, just ordinary land hiding an extraordinary secret. Then, one quiet morning, something strange happened. A routine land survey picked up an anomaly. At first, it looked like a simple error, but the deeper they looked, the more unsettling it became. Solid ground where there shouldn't be any. Hollow space where Earth was supposed to be dense. What nobody expected was that this small discovery would lead to one of the most shocking finds in modern history. An underground bunker, sealed for more than 80 years. Built during one of the darkest periods the world has ever known. Preserved by time, protected by secrecy. And the most chilling part? It wasn't empty. As investigators prepared to enter, one question echoed through everyone's mind. What was hidden here, and why was it never meant to be found? The land itself had a long and quiet past. Locals knew it as nothing more than an abandoned patch of forest, the kind of place children avoided and farmers ignored. No one built homes there. No one planted crops. Old villagers whispered stories about strange sounds during storms or animals refusing to go near certain areas. But over time, those stories faded. 80 years ago, this region was very different. The world was at war, and fear ruled everyday life. Governments didn't just fight battles on open fields, they fought underground. Secret tunnels, hidden rooms, emergency shelters, all designed to survive bombings, invasions, and betrayal. This area sat dangerously close to strategic routes, rail lines, supply paths, military movement zones. During the war, it would have been the perfect place to hide something important, something valuable, or someone powerful. Records from that time were incomplete. Many documents were burned, others were deliberately erased. Engineers, soldiers, and prisoners worked in silence, often never leaving alive. When the war ended, entrances were sealed, maps destroyed, and memories buried along with concrete and steel. For decades, nature did what it does best. Trees grew, grass spread, soil shifted. Slowly, the bunker vanished from sight. Even satellite images showed nothing unusual. It was as if the ground itself had decided to protect the secret. But time has a strange way of revealing what humans try to hide. When excavation finally began, the team expected rubble, maybe a collapsed tunnel. What they found instead stopped them cold. A reinforced concrete ceiling, thicker than modern safety standards. Rusted ventilation pipes still intact. A steel door buried so deep it took hours just to expose its surface. And that door had never been opened. As they cut through decades of corrosion, the air that escaped was stale, heavy, and untouched since the 1940s. The first step inside felt less like entering a structure and more like stepping back into history. Dim lights revealed narrow corridors stretching into darkness. Old wiring clung to the walls, signs painted in faded letters warning of restricted access. The floor was covered in dust so thick that every footprint felt like an intrusion. But here's the twist. This bunker wasn't small. It wasn't a simple shelter. It was a fully operational underground facility. Room after room appeared, each serving a different purpose. Sleeping quarters lined with metal bed frames. Storage rooms filled with crates marked with symbols from a long-dead regime. Medical supplies neatly arranged as if waiting for someone who never returned. In one chamber, they found a long table surrounded by chairs. Maps still hung on the walls, their edges curling with age. Pins marked locations that once decided the fate of thousands. This wasn't just a place to hide, it was a place to plan. As explorers moved deeper, the atmosphere grew heavier. Personal items lay scattered, boots near bunks, notebooks filled with handwritten notes, even photographs tucked into lockers. Faces stared back from another lifetime, smiles frozen in a world that no longer exists. What nobody expected was the evidence of sudden abandonment. Meals left unfinished, equipment powered down mid-use, doors locked from the inside. Something had forced everyone to leave in a hurry, or something had prevented them from leaving at all. One sealed chamber raised even more questions. Behind it, they discovered documents wrapped in oilcloth to protect them from moisture. Orders stamped with official seals, plans that hinted at operations never mentioned in history books.
Some experts believe this bunker played a role far greater than anyone imagined, a command center, a last resort hideout, possibly even a storage site for classified materials meant to be destroyed but forgotten instead. But the most emotional discovery came from a small room at the far end of the bunker. Inside were children's drawings scratched onto the wall, simple shapes, houses, stick figures holding hands, proof that families had once lived here, trapped underground while the world above burned. That single detail changed everything. This wasn't just a military structure, it was a human story, a story of fear, hope, survival, and loss. Imagine living underground for months, no sunlight, no fresh air, constant silence broken only by distant explosions. Parents trying to stay strong, children asking when they could go home, and no clear answer. When the war finally ended, many bunkers were evacuated safely, but some were sealed intentionally, either to hide secrets or because reopening them was too dangerous. In this case, it appears the bunker was abandoned and then deliberately buried, as if someone wanted to erase its existence entirely. The emotional weight of the discovery hit hard. Historians, archaeologists, and even family members of missing soldiers began coming forward. Names from old records suddenly had possible locations. Long unanswered questions found painful clarity. For families who had waited generations for closure, this bunker reopened wounds they never fully healed. Loved ones who vanished without explanation now had a place, a context, a final chapter. Careers were built on this discovery. Researchers spent months cataloging items, translating notes, and piecing together timelines. Every object told a story. Every room held a memory. But beyond the science and history, there was something deeply human about standing in that space. A reminder that behind every war statistic are real people with real lives. People who loved, feared, planned, and hoped, just like us. As the bunker was slowly documented and secured, one thing became clear. This place wasn't hidden by accident. It was hidden because what it contained was too powerful, too painful, or too dangerous to face at the time. And yet, after 80 years, the truth surfaced anyway. The ground gave up its secret. Time pulled back the curtain, and the voices of the past were finally heard. Today, the bunker stands as more than a historical site. It's a warning, a lesson, a silent witness to what happens when fear and power collide. The world above has moved on. Cities have grown. Technology has changed everything. But underground, that bunker remains frozen in time, reminding us that history never truly disappears. It waits. So, the next time you walk across quiet land, remember this: beneath your feet could be stories buried deeper than you ever imagined, stories that, one day, may rise again. Because no matter how deep you hide the past, it always finds a way back to the surface.